Pokémon Legends Arceus is out. And by now, I'm gonna assume I am enjoying the game, and the same can also apply for some of you. Because I write my scripts a week in advance, this is going to be my team going into Legends Arceus without knowing the full decks. Think of it as a pre-team. Next week, I will have my 100% final team created, because by then, we will know everything in the decks. Who knows, maybe I will find a Pokemon in-game that I really liked using that I don't know about at this point in time due to not knowing every mon in the decks. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how much my team changes next week. Anywho though, you get the premise now of what's going on today, so let's just get into it. Alrighty, starting off, we of course have the choice of any of these three starters in Legends Arceus, being Cyndaquil, Oshawott, or Rowlet. Though I do like Rowlet a decent amount, and I'm not a huge fan of Oshawott, the starter choice obviously had to be one based sheerly on my Johto bias. You guessed it. Cyndaquil isn't only here due to my Johto bias though. Or actually, I say that, but that's mainly what it's here for. Cyndaquil does have some fun fire stab attacks, and its stats are pretty good more or less. Typhlosion should be able to hold its own decently well here. I have faith in it. If I can go on a bit of my history with Typhlosion though, it was technically the first starter that I ever picked. I did choose Bulbasaur for my first playthrough of Red, but as I have mentioned before in my past videos, I used to get lost in Viridian Forest. I mean, for Arceus' sake, I was 4 years old. I think when I was 6, I finally made it to Brock's gym, and I knew about type advantages then too, so he pretty much just fainted to Vine Whip. In terms of Typhlosion though, it was my first level 100 ever, so that is another huge reason why I am picking it. Legends Arceus is, like I said, a breathtaking game, and I am excited to relive my childhood again with my first ever technical starter. Hopefully now, the Johto bias doesn't sound as bad. But yeah, this reasoning is important enough to me, and Cyndaquil is a Pokemon I have a really close bond with. Anywho, that's all I have to really say about Typhlosion though. For my water type option, I want to take the same initial approach I had for BDSP when I created a team just like this. In Shining Pearl, I really wanted to use Tentacruel. However, due to Tentacruel's location in modern Sinnoh, it was a lot harder to get, and therefore it seemed kind of pointless. The in-game availability for it was just too late for me, so of course I decided on another Pokemon instead. We don't know when Tentacruel will be available this time in Hisui though. If it is a decent time, I will gladly use Tentacruel on my team. Its typing of water and poison is a favorite dual type of mine, and this typing could prove to be rather useful and unique. I've always thought of Tentacruel as a very unique Pokemon to have on any team, and I think it'll hold me off pretty well in Legends Arceus. It's a hidden ruby gem, and sometimes I think people forget it exists, especially from the in-game perspective. Plus, we don't know the fairy situation in Legends Arceus yet, but nonetheless, I will have a unique water and poison typing to help aid with that. Now, here's a Pokemon that isn't really particularly great, but I've always wanted to use it in a playthrough. I've gotten to use most of the evolutions on teams in the past, but alas, there are two I have never been able to use, being Glaceon and Leafeon. Truth be told, I like both of them rather equally, despite how not so great they are. They're evolutions, my relatives, and I like to give my siblings a chance. Unfortunately, it had to come down to one, and the choice I have made is none other than Leafeon. I've always created my own personal teams with having a fire, water, grass core in mind. Leafeon definitely isn't the greatest of grass types, but at the end of the day, for a personal in-game team, it doesn't really matter. Hopefully Leafeon is able to get Leaf Blade at a decent enough level so it can help me out pretty well. For all I know, like always, grass types won't be very good. But who knows, I could be wrong this time. Maybe a grass type might actually do well in Legends Arceus. I could always use Roserade, but I've used that multiple times, plus my poison Pokemon is already figured out. So Leafeon, here I come. The next choice is going to be the first brand new Pokemon to Legends Arceus I will be including on my team, that being Wyrdeer. I made it a heavy point in my top 10 that Wyrdeer was a strong contender of Pokemon I will be using. I mean, how could it not be? It's what Stantler should have gotten a long time ago. Stantler never got a Mega or anything special like that. However, I'm very happy it got a regional variant finally, and a Psychic type at that. Stantler has always screamed Psychic Pokemon to me, and I'm pretty glad that it finally got it. What really got me though, is that it's described that Wyrdeer's psychic powers are strong enough to distort space. I hope that concept can back up its stats. Its attack stats are pretty massive, but with the low speed, we will see how that works. If Trick Room is in here, then it should help out a lot. Another Pokemon I mentioned in the top 10 Pokemon I wanted to use was Hisui and Zoroark. And with this design, who wouldn't want to use it? What's really interesting about this Hisuian form is the new birth of the dual typing, Normal and Ghost. For years, this typing had been unused, but we finally get to see it today. I always thought this typing would be used on a different type of Pokemon, but on a regional variant of Zoroark, it's pretty random. How this new form came to be is also what you'd expect of a Ghost-type Pokemon. In Hisui, Zoroark takes on a ghostly appearance due to it dying in the harsh conditions and being reborn through spite. Hisui and Zoroark literally hates every little thing in the Pokemon world, and it lives in spite. However, it can be compassionate for the individuals it cares about, so it's safe to say I have to befriend this evil mon fast, or else it's lights out for me, literally. The concept for this is amazing, and I gotta give credit to Pokemon. This is the first Pokemon in a long time that's truly been able to make one of my favorite lists. Lastly is a mon that has a fantastic reputation of being one of the best Pokemon out there, Garchomp. In BDSP, I always talked about how late game Gible is and explained it wasn't worth using. This go around, however, I want to give Garchomp a test drive. Hopefully it can be obtained a little earlier this time. Garchomp is a superstar, with great stats and a dominant dragon and ground move pool to choose from. Ground is usually a game breaker, so I would love to have that 130 base attack and speedy base 102 to shred through these games. Even if it is a little later, I don't mind the grind myself. But just because I don't mind the grind myself doesn't excuse it for not possibly being on the best team. It ultimately depends on the in-game availability for me to judge that. If availability was like Platinum, I can guarantee it would have had a bigger shot at making the team. But alas, that wasn't the case. Hopefully Legends Arceus fixes this issue. Well, that wraps up my team for Legends Arceus. Be sure to stay tuned for next week to see how much this team has changed. I don't follow leaks, so at this point I still have no idea what the full dex is. Obviously, at this point, due to the game being out though, the entire dex is released, so you guys can talk about the new mons as you please. Regardless though, I can't wait to see the comments of all the newly introduced Pokemon that you guys think will be on my team next week. But again, next week we will see the final team. Hey guys, thank you for enjoying another Mystic Umbreon video. It's exciting times for the Pokemon franchise, and I look forward to the coming months where it just keeps getting better. If you guys are wanting some more bite-sized Mystic Umbreon content, please check out my TikTok, where I upload daily, as well as the Mystic Umbreon Shorts channel. If y'all enjoyed the video and want to see more content like this, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Be sure to leave a comment too, it really helps us out. I think it's time to wrap this up though. I'm Mystic Umbreon, and I'll see you next time with some more amazing Pokemon content.